The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the host, guests, and callers, who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
When you walk out on that field today, ask yourself this question. What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! Reverse! 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 I'm going to the house! I'm going to the house! When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it. It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. We ready? I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, I know we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up with chin straps. Yeah. Don't you disrespect the game like that. So much pride from him. He's a man. They can be a hit just like us. He's a man. You ought to make the big run. He's a man. I'm just still on the field, man. That's who I did. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. You better work in my world. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We ready? I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. It's a wrap. Game over.
Oh, no, the game is just getting started right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It is our Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. edition of the lunch break. It is the day that we celebrate his life, his legacy, his just everything. And I'm doing that today. I was blessed to be able to see some of the posts that Dr. Bernice King, his daughter, posted, and I shared a few of those on Twitter. And just to start off the show right off jump, I'm going to a couple of hers today. Let me show this. Let me read this. Here it is. A couple hours ago, she said, I encourage you to study my father more comprehensively and to attend at the King Center's virtual session on his nonviolent philosophy and his work to eradicate racism, war, and poverty. A powerful book to start with is this last one, Where Do We Go From Here? She's talking to people who like to quote Dr. Martin Luther King, not to empower other people, but to literally justify racism by expecting Black people to not say anything as we're being shot down in the streets, as there seems to be two different justice systems for us and others. And people like to quote his stuff, not to help, but to literally do what they like to say in the NFL and other sports, shut up and dribble, or shut up and play football. Here's one of the other things that she tweeted out. Dear politicians and political influencers, when you tweet about my father's birthday, remember that he was resolute about eradicating racism, poverty, and militarism. encourage and enact policies that reflect his birthday sentiments. I love it. I love it. I'm gonna read several of these throughout the day because, you know, Facebook has the audacity to block my show when I play some of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s speeches. I don't own the rights to them, but neither do they. And I don't want to get into your political jargon with President Trump and First Amendment rights, and I'll miss me on all that, because you're not trying to help me get the word out about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. You're just lamenting that your guy lost and he unfairly, in your opinion, is being blocked off of social media with a private company saying, we don't want no more of your crap. We don't want no more of your nonsense. So we're not the same. Don't play me, and I promise you, I don't have time to play with you. So it's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. It's going to be all interwoven throughout the lunch break. We're going to do it like that. If you don't like it, it'll be okay. You'll be all right. As I had to invite another young man on Twitter. If you're having trouble finding the unfollow button, I'm a little busy. Can't help you out with that. It's there, I promise you. We'll be right back right after these messages here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
Important COVID-19 school system update for your local area. If you're concerned about your child's education, please pay close attention to this message. The current school systems were not set up for at-home learning. If you're worried that your child may not be getting the grades they need to get ahead, may be losing self-confidence, or you're worried about them getting into a good college because of their grades, help is available to you. Call Grade Potential Tutoring. They can help with in-home or online tutoring and help your child with any subject at every grade level, even for test prep. They're experts in the home tutoring and online tutoring field and confident they can help you and your child get better grades today. Call now for your free consultation. 800-580-7680. 800-580-7680. 800-580-7680. That's 800-580-7680. I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who've helped people that have been injured or wronged. Have you been diagnosed with cancer? Are you one of the millions who have taken Zantac or other generic versions of this popular drug to help treat stomach issues? Then pay close attention to this message. The FDA said it detected low levels of a probable cancer-causing chemical known as NDMA in Zantac and other generic forms of this popular drug. They've banned sales and even removed it from the market. If you've been diagnosed with cancer and you've taken Zantac or a generic equivalent, call the legal helpline now. You could receive a free cash award and have your medical expenses covered. And there's no upfront cost to you. They only get paid if you win. So please call now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legend continues.
Hi, my name is Lily. My mom and dad used to fight about money all the time. Then one day, I heard them talking about this guy, some uncle I never knew, called Uncle Sam. Well, they say this Uncle Sam guy wanted them to pay him like $1 gazillion, and they didn't have $1 gazillion. So they called this company they heard on the radio called the Tax Doctor. And the Tax Doctor worked with Uncle Sam's people. I think they're called the IRS. And they are able to work it out so my mom and dad didn't have to pay Uncle Sam very much money at all. So now mom and dad are happy, and I'm happy too. Thanks, Tax Doctor.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, call now and pay less. 800-603-9359. 800-603-9359. That's 800-603-9359.
You're listening to The Lunch Break with AJ on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. It is the celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It's his day, and we are going to definitely celebrate that. Let me give you another message. If you're a CDL licensed driver and you're looking for an opportunity with a reputable company, I need you to call this number, 832-476-3211. That's 832-476-3211. You got to have your CDL, a good driving record, and a TWIC card. CDL driver's license, good driving record, and a TWIC card. And there is a reputable company that's looking for you. Their number again, 832-476-3211, 832-476-3211. Let me go phone line. One of my favorites, standing by, brother like no other from a different mother, Todd Malcolm. What up, though, Todd?
How do people like Tom Brady now?
Man, they don't. They don't know what to say.
We try to tell him, AJ.
I did. And Doc, I was doing it when he was still in New England. That final year in New England, it's like, I don't know. I wouldn't give up on him. I don't know. I wouldn't get up. Maybe he can't do everything he used to do, but he can still do a whole lot.
Here's the thing, though. Even when Jordan was at the end, and even LeBron, they can't do everything they used to do, too, right?
Right.
Young LeBron in Cleveland, man, he was jumping like from the free throw line.
Bruh.
Windmill and dunks. He's not doing that now.
Right.
He's beating you in a different way.
Yep.
I was listening to what Paul Gasol said the other day on Instagram. He goes, as you get older, your athleticism drops. You beat people more mentally than physically.
Yep.
And that's the thing about Brady. Brady and Dirk are like the same type of athlete to me.
Yeah.
They both came in the league unathletic.
Mm-hmm.
And they were never beating you with their athleticism.
Right.
But when they aged, it was a lot of it was still their mind. They were beating you to begin with.
Yep.
So that way they can age sometimes a little bit more gracefully because explosion was never the thing that was their calling card at the beginning of their career.
Absolutely. I'm not saying these guys are unathletic, but guys that come to mind, Larry Bird, Reggie Miller, guys like that who are just not going to dominate you. But, man, their IQ for their sport is so high that they're going to figure out a way to position themselves to beat you. That's what I saw with Tom Brady this season. Tom Brady had ups, he had downs, but he kept working to find a way to position himself and his team to be successful. And it came to fruition last night as they, put away the New Orleans Saints and retired Drew Brees.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. That Bucs defense has been hit or miss all year. They'd have some games like when they played the Packers earlier in the year. They looked great, right? And then they had a game, when they played the Saints at Tampa Bay, and they just got destroyed. So they were kind of hit or miss, kind of up and down. The Bucs defense all year, which kind of made me nervous going to that game because there would be games that looked really good, and then there would be games they just didn't show up at all.
Yeah. And again, it's a team sport. It's kind of a team sport. Like, they go kill Lamar if they haven't already done it. They're going to kill Lamar Jackson today. I mean, he's just going to get killed, and he got to live another 365 before he'll get a chance to prove everybody wrong. And I hate that for the young man because I just think he's a phenomenal generational talent. Same thing with Drew Brees. He had a tough night last night. And I get the just difficult place that Sean Payton was in. Do I pull out a guy who could very well be playing his very last game and put in somebody else? Jameis, it didn't even matter. Forget the name. But somebody else from a guy who is playing his last game. At some point, it's just you got to make the decision for the best interest of the team. But all those things come into play, and I can't fault him for the decision. He made the decision, and they tried it, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah, it just didn't work. We always try to be sometimes that armchair quarterback, right? Well, you would have put Taysom Hill in, or you put a Jameson in. That may work, but there's no guarantee it would have. It may have been just as bad, right?
Right.
Jameis hasn't had any meaningful snaps really all year, right? So to put in that game, in that moment, would you be putting him in late third, early fourth, something like that?
Yeah.
Hey, Jameis, we haven't relied on you all year. go get us this, man, that's a tough spot for anybody, even a veteran backup, right?
Yep.
So, you know, I think I see why coaches in the NFL like that are normally going to go keep with what's got them there, you know, in the past. And I think it just snowballed on Drew, you know, at the end there. You know, so no, that was an interesting game. The Saints defense that first half was impressive to me. I just didn't see it. I thought that Saints offense was going to get going a little bit.
Yep.
And the way the Saints defense was playing those safeties real deep, they were saying, hey, we're not going to let you beat us deep. We're going to make the Bucs offense drive the ball slowly down the field.
Yeah.
And eventually you'll stall out somewhere.
Yep.
We're going to limit you to field goals. Now, with that being said, I texted you this during the game. That pass Brady threw to Godwin was unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. No, seriously. The one that he dropped in the end zone when he came down on his back and rolled over.
Yes.
That was a laser, number one. The placement, number two. And watch this. The placement is one thing, but fitting it into a very small window. And I'm not talking about defensive players. I'm talking about he knew that he was at the back of the back of the end zone. So he had to put enough on it for it to get there and not too much so it would get out of there. I'm telling you, man, Tom Brady is all right with me. All right with me.
Yeah, I mean, is his arm what it was, you know, 10 years ago? Probably not. But it's still pretty darn good.
Let me tell you something. Mike Tyson might not be able to fight like he could, but he can still knock you out in a couple of rounds. Tom Brady still has some zing in his arm when he needs it. Can't do it all game, but he has it when he needs it. Todd, stay right there. Let me take a quick break. We'll be right back with Todd Malcolm and more right after this. OMG Tires and More is our sponsor for this segment.
Hi, I'm Linda J. I recently purchased 4 new tires from OMG Tires and More, located at 3124 Tidwell between 59 and Jensen. TK got me in and out in less than 30 minutes. While there, I got my car washed. Do you need rims for your car? OMG has them too. OMG Tires and More is your one-stop shop for all your tire needs. So give them a call at 832-767-3211. That's 832-767-3211. Conveniently located at 3124 Tidwell between 59 and Jensen on the north side.
Here's an important COVID-19 school system update for your local area. If you're concerned about your child's education, please pay close attention to this message. The current school systems were not set up for at-home learning. If you're worried that your child may not be getting the grades they need to get ahead, maybe losing self-confidence, or you're worried about them getting into a good college because of their grades, help is available to you. Call Grade Potential Tutoring. They can help with in-home or online tutoring and help your child with any subject and every grade level, even for test prep. They're experts in the home tutoring and online tutoring field and confident they can help you and your child get better grades today. Call now for your free consultation. 800-580-7680. 800-580-7680. 800-580-7680. That's 800-580-7680.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM. The legendary KYOK 92.3 FM. 2 radio stations in one.
I'm Larry Scott, host of the Not So Christian and Me Show. Join me Saturdays for great fun, interviews, music, and the latest news surrounding our world today. We are the show that cares to hear your voice and opinion with real conversation in a no judgment zone. So join me Saturdays from 1 to 2 p.m. on the Not So Christian and Me Show, right here on the legendary KYOK Radio, 1140 AM, and the all-new 92.3 FM and KYOKradio.org.
Now let's get back to the lunch break with AJ on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
Man, I got my favorites checking in here today. I'm talking about I got some who's who checking in here today. Belinda Lipscomb, I mean, really, from one of my favorite groups in the whole wide world of all time, No Parking Baby, No Parking on the Dance Floor, talking about the group Midnight Star, has checked in on the show. And then they call her a tall drink of water back in the country. It is none other than Kelly KP Hodges. What up, Kelly? She used to do, what was it, the 411 right here on the legendary KYOK. So big shout out to you. On Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, his daughter, Bernice King, tweeted out, "Please don't act like everyone loved my father. He was assassinated." A 1967 poll reflected that he was one of the most hated men in America. Most hated. Many who quote him now and evoke him to deter justice today would likely hate and may already hate the authentic Dr. King. That's from his daughter, Bernice. Let me go back to the phone line. Todd, getting some Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Love in here from his daughter. From his daughter.
And that's good. That's good stuff.
And listen, you just can't refute that. If I say something, folks, oh well, that's not what he meant. His daughter said it, so we just leave it at that. We'll just leave it at that.
I read a book on J. Edgar Hoover once, right? And he was, J. Edgar Hoover was out to get Martin Luther King.
Yep.
So his daughter's right. J. Edgar Hoover, if you ever read an autobiography on him, that guy was obsessed with Martin Luther King and trying to destroy what he was trying to do. I don't even know if legally someone could do some of the stuff J. Edgar Hoover was doing in today's time of, wiretaps and all this stuff.
You saw that movie 13th, about the 13th Amendment. They had some clips in there from J. Edgar Hoover that was just chilling. Chilling. So, let's just be real. There's some modern day J. Edgar Hoovers out there.
Yeah,
modern day.
Absolutely. If people really knew the stuff that J. Edgar Hoover was doing to keep track, if you will, of Martin Luther King, they wouldn't believe it.
Yep. And talk about disinformation and fake news, the stuff that they leaked out about him and tried to tarnish his legacy, not even his legacy, his reputation. Thought that, people would turn away from him if they could, say that he was cheating on his wife and sleeping with all these different women, and they quote unquote got wiretaps. Baby, please.
No, it's I can't even imagine what that man went through at that time in this country. It's unbelievable.
Let me tell you something. I watched last night after the game. We got Todd Malcolm joining us. I watched One Night in Miami last night. Regina King did a phenomenal job with that movie, centered around Malcolm X, Jim Brown, Muhammad Ali, and oh man, y'all help me with the third person. I'm drawing a blank on him. Not Donnie Hathaway, but the other. I'll get it. It'll come back to me. Long story short, just seeing how the actor portrayed Malcolm X looking over his shoulder and looking out the windows and people following him, and then literally seeing one of his bodyguards talking to the people that were following him.
Yep.
I can't say much more than that. I could not, be trying to secure my family, fight for the movement and looking over my shoulder all the time and inside my own ranks with that going on.
And I also read a book on Malcolm X too, several years ago. And if people will read that book, they will have a better understanding of the animosity he had towards white people at one point. So if you don't know the background of it, of kind of why he had that animosity, it's not going to make sense.
Right. Sam Cooke was the singer that was involved. I don't, for some reason, me and Sam Cooke and Donnie Hathaway, we all the same people. But anyway, but yeah, you're right. There are books out there that will give you a different insight to him than what was put out about him. You and I've had that discussion before about the whole white devils and that kind of thing. And people hear that and they don't have any context around it. So they immediately hate a man that simply wanted equality for everyone.
Yeah, no, when you read the book and you get context of him, seeing his dad get murdered in front of his eyes and stuff that went on, he witnessed with his mother, you'd have animosity too. Bruh. We all would.
Bruh.
But without context, I mean, the stuff he witnessed at a young age, anybody would have, animosity.
Here's what's crazy, and I'm going to be real transparent right now. The little bit that they taught us about Dr. Martin Luther King in school when I was coming up versus what they taught us about Malcolm X. I was literally taught to appreciate Martin and be afraid of Malcolm. And it wasn't until I got older that I did my own study and my own, let me dig into this, because everybody's like the Muslims this, and the great Elijah Muhammad that, and Malcolm X this, like they were just the boogeymen. And then as I, like you just said, read and studied, I'm like, what in the world have I allowed these people to make me believe about somebody who gave his life for me?
Yeah, and it's funny you bring that up because I'm 43, and I think back when I was in elementary school, in a predominantly white neighborhood, they did talk. When it was Black History Month, they talked about Martin Luther King, right?
Right.
And Malcolm X was never discussed.
Yep.
Never discussed in school. I heard the name. I knew the name, right?
Yep.
Because with my last name being Malcolm, I'd have kids my age would call me Malcolm X, right?
Yep.
Just kind of a nickname or a joking name. So I knew the name, right?
Yep.
I was never educated on who he was, like I was told who Martin Luther King was, if that makes sense.
Yep.
But I didn't know why, right? So I get, looking back on it, I guess it's, sometimes you've made the comment, are you more like Martin or are you more like Malcolm, right?
Yep.
I think that's maybe the difference, is that Malcolm was looked at as more of a, and correct me if I'm wrong, controversial figure. Maybe, and Malcolm or Martin came across more about peace. And maybe that was it.
Yep.
I don't know, but Malcolm X's name never came up in any school I was ever in.
Yep. No, I think it's a fair assessment, if you will. I mean, big buckets, mind you, because they were both more intricate than that. But Malcolm was definitely supposedly more radical, and Martin was supposedly more conservative because of the non-peaceful, of the non-violent protests, what have you. But again, dig in deeper. Don't just look at the quotes they give you and attest to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. basically said, listen, we're going to try this for a little while. If it don't work, there are other options. And a lot of folks don't believe that, don't understand that, and don't like that. But it's just the reality.
Yeah, you said something a while back, and I'll paraphrase. You had said something that Martin Luther King said, that he said at one point the protesting or something is going to come to an end, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I think Martin Luther King and both Malcolm X, maybe Malcolm was quicker to go to that, right? Versus maybe Martin Luther King was, hey, let's try this approach first, this conservative, if you will, right?
Yep.
If it doesn't work, because for anybody, everyone has a breaking point.
Right.
You tell me to go through the chain of command, I'm going to do that.
Yep.
But if I do all that, I still don't see any change.
Yep.
Then I'm going to have to do something else outside of that chain of command you gave me.
My youngest son is 6'8", and he had a growth spurt late, but he was always one of the tallest kids. And because of that, kids, would kind of pick on him, and and then all of a sudden they'd be afraid of him. What I would sit down with the teachers and say, listen, I'm teaching my son to go through the chain of command. I'm teaching him to tell the teacher. And if the teacher doesn't listen, I'm teaching him to, tell, whoever else is there and in authority. But at some point, enough is enough. If the teacher doesn't do anything, the principal doesn't do anything, the assistant principal doesn't do anything, I'm not going to let y'all just sit here and beat my child to death. I'm not. So either you figure out how to protect my child, or I'm going to teach my child how to protect himself.
Exactly. Yeah, so... it's funny you bring that up, man. And I remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, I remember watching this. Have you seen the Netflix show on Who Killed Malcolm X?
Of course. Yes, sir.
You said that, right?
Yes, sir.
Part of the show was talking about, and I'm paraphrasing again because it's been a while since I watched it, maybe been a year or so, the guy that did it, did the Netflix movie. and it was talking about how come we don't have schools and streets and stuff named after Malcolm X,
Right.
like we do Martin Luther King, right?
Right.
And I thought that was a good point because I think both, even though they had slightly different approaches, no different a head coach, two different coaches, right?
Right.
And I
Yes,
think
sir.
the end result was the same, but we celebrate them completely different.
Let me blow your mind, Todd. You can handle this. We got Todd Malcolm joining us here on the lunch break. Let me blow your mind. You can handle this. We celebrate Underground Railroad. Help me out. The woman from the Underground Railroad.
Harriet Tubman.
Harriet Tubman. We celebrate her.
Okay.
Freedom fighter.
Yep.
You know, Nat Turner was a freedom fighter. Nat Turner said, I'm going to kill the people that are holding us. Harriet Tubman said, I'm going to sneak us out from the people that are holding us.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them were freedom fighters. Nat Turner is not celebrated because he tried to kill the folks that was holding us. Harriet Tubman is celebrated because she found a peaceful way to try and free the slaves with the Underground Railroad.
Mm-hmm.
No schools named after Nat Turner, no streets, no cities, no buildings, nothing. Like he was public enemy number one. And he was far from that. But we got to have Confederate flags and Confederate statues and all of that kind of stuff. And that's our history. So what are we saying? Nat Turner wasn't part of history?
Yeah, that's a good point.
And now that we better understand what he was trying to do and why, he still don't get a pass?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good point, AJ. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me.
And I'm not saying this to you, but people want me to honor their history, but they don't even want to acknowledge mine.
Yeah.
They want to tell me what my history is. They want to tell me what parts I can appreciate and not. They literally will try to vilify people that should be edified and lifted up and recognized.
Yeah, I don't get it, man. I want to ask you a Deshaun Watson question.
Yup.
All right. This is something I've been thinking on the last few days, right? So let's say you're the owner of the Texans, right?
Yep.
Let's say I'm your star quarterback.
Yep.
Right? How do you balance an ownership taking so Deshaun Watson wants to be involved in like the GM hire, the head coaching hire from what I've heard, right?
Let me correct that. It's Dr. Martin Luther King Day. I got to correct some stuff. And this is not correcting you. Put it out there right. Cal McNair went to Deshaun and asked him, what can we do? I know it's been tough. What would you like to see? And Deshaun gave a list of concerns, what have you. And Cal said, I will include you and get your input on the GM and the head coach. Deshaun gave them a list of, a couple of names in both categories. The search firm that the Texans use gave them a recommendation on two names, Louis Riddick and Omar Khan.
Okay.
Cal did not use any of anybody's recommendations and just went with the very thing that Deshaun said. I don't want the same culture. I don't want to keep feeding from the same pool and from the same plate and from the same buffet. We need something different here, i.e. New England. Something different than feeding everybody, bringing everybody in from New England. What did Cal do? Got another New Englander there. And then Deshaun looked at, and they haven't even requested an interview with the two names that I gave them. He only gave them two. And they haven't even requested an interview with either two. When they finally got around to doing Eric Bieniemy, it was too late because it was after the bye week, so now they got to wait till after the Super Bowl if they go that far. So it's not that Deshaun wanted to be involved in that. Deshaun was asked to be involved in that and then ignored when it came down to it.
All right, so here's my question, okay? So let's say, how do you balance the input that is given to you by your franchise player, right? How do you balance the input of what they would like to see, at the GM or the head coaching position versus actually carrying that out? Like, let's say.
I think, Todd, it's this simple. I think it's this simple. If Cal McNair had put in a phone call, text message, he likes to text Deshaun now, send a text message, say, hey, I know you told me to look at Louis Riddick and Alonzo Highsmith at and I'm just throwing names out, at GM, but we decided we're going to go ahead and go with Jack Easterby.
Okay.
Deshaun, he didn't tell Deshaun that you were going to get to pick those people. You just said, I'm gonna consider your input. By repeating it back to him that way, I considered your input, but we feel like this is the best way to go. I don't think Deshaun would be on 10 versus 2 if that had happened. Same thing with the head coach. We haven't gotten around to requesting an interview with Bieniemy. We're going to unfortunately have to do it after they end the playoffs, but we are planning to But to go about it the way Cal did after having said, I'm going to include you, that don't work. That don't work. Stay right there, man. Let me do a quick break. I'll be right back. Todd Malcolm right after this on lunch break.
1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legendary KYOK.
Hi, my name is Lily. My mom and dad used to fight about money all the time. Then one day, I heard them talking about this guy, some uncle I never knew, called Uncle Sam. Well, they say this Uncle Sam guy wanted them to pay him like $1 gazillion, and they didn't have $1 gazillion. So they called this company they heard on the radio called the Tax Doctor. And the Tax Doctor worked with Uncle Sam's people. I think they're called the IRS. And they are able to work it out so my mom and dad didn't have to pay Uncle Sam very much money at all. So now mom and dad are happy, and I'm happy too. Thanks, Tax Doctor.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, call now and pay less. 800-603-9359. 800-603-9359. That's 800-603-9359.
Hello, my name is Margaret, and I'm not a paid actor. I'm simply a very satisfied customer that has received good advice from the care team insurance. Without the help from the care team, we would not have had health insurance. The care team has saved my daughter's life.
This is one of the many great results of Care Team's efforts. Don't get caught with bad or no insurance at all. Let Care Team assist you with our free enrollment assistance program. Call now, 281-990-1377. There are over 13 million people without medical insurance that should qualify for plans starting at $0 to $50 per month. Care Team has helped thousands of people just like you. This is AJ Jones, and KYOK listeners, I want you to call now and see what you qualify for at 281-990-1377. That's 281-990-1377, or visit careteamcares.com.
The lunch break, where sports are the special of the day on the legendary KYOK.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK. And if you're a CDL licensed driver with a good driving record and a TWIC card, there is a reputable company that's looking for you. 832-476-3211 is the number to dial. 832-476-3211. Again, you got to have a CDL license, a good driving record, and a TWIC card, and a very reputable company would like you to call them. 832-476-3211. That's 832-476-3211. Brought to you here by the lunch break. All right, let me go back to Todd. Todd, a couple of pieces of news out there. Tom Brady, I really do like Tom. He sent a jersey to Chase Young with a special message. He sent him his jersey with a special message. Also, Todd Bowles going to interview for the Eagles job. And there's a mock draft that says the Texans are going to trade Deshaun and get that kid Zach Wilson out of BYU. That would be a very Texan kind of move right there. That would be real Texans right there.
That was my next question for you. Where do you think this Deshaun Watson thing ends up? Do you see Deshaun Watson putting on a Texans uniform again? Or
I don't, and I hope not. Yeah, both of them. I don't see him doing it, and I hope he doesn't.
But what I heard Miami as a team potentially would give the Texans Tua and a bunch of picks.
Yeah, because it's going to take about anywhere from 4 to 6 picks, with a couple of them being first rounders for Deshaun, unless they can get a franchise type quarterback young in return. So, they're not going to trade him to Miami for Ryan Fitzpatrick. They're not going to do that. They're not going to trade him for, Josh Rosen. It would have to be Tua and about 4 or 5, maybe 6 picks. I threw out there on Twitter and got a lot of people mad at me about Deshaun ending up in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh doesn't have the kind of collateral to pull that trade off, and they definitely don't have the kind of quarterback to pull that trade off. So yeah, it's going to take a move like that.
Man, if the Dolphins could get him, if the Dolphins could package Tua, maybe 2 first rounders, 2 second, or maybe 3 first rounders and a second, however you want to do it, man, the Dolphins would be tough.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. They're gonna have to give up. They're gonna have to give up those 2 first rounders that they got from the Texans. I think one's a 3rd, the other one's like a 16th or something around there. And then they would have to give a future picks, 2nd, 3rd round picks, to the tune of about 3 to 4 more and Tua for the Texans to make that deal happen. But the teams to watch, and I'm not crazy about any of them other than the Miami opportunity for Deshaun's sake. Miami would be number 1. Number 2 would be the Jets. Number 3 would be Denver. And I think Chicago is like an outside shot to pull something like that off. I'm not crazy about the Jets or Denver, because both of those organizations are run about as bad as the Texans are, give or take.
Yeah, no, I think the number 1 for me would be the Dolphins, because the Dolphins seem like they head in the right direction.
Yeah, I'm okay with the Dolphins. That's why I say Pittsburgh would be a good run organization. I'm not crazy about Chicago from a coaching standpoint, but they would be good. I'd absolutely be great if he went to Pittsburgh, obviously. So yeah, those are the kind of places.
I mean, do you think it's at that point? Do you think it's at the divorce, if you will, between those 2 parties?
Yep.
Really?
I mean, he's getting advice to just not give in at all. And I mean, think about it. How do you repair it? How do you repair it? Jack Easterby is apparently the lightning rod. He's still there, and Cal McNair has said, I'll take the blame for handling this poorly. We do plan to, interview Eric Bieniemy, but Jack Easterby's staying.
So let me ask you about Bieniemy. Is it looking unlikely he's going to get a head coaching job? Because some of these jobs seem to be filling up, like the Chargers job, the Lions job. Is it looking unlikely that he will get a head coaching job?
It is. It really is. And I said that over the weekend. It's sad, but starting to look like he will not get a head coaching job again. Of course, the Texans' job is still open. The Eagles might bring him in if they don't hire somebody before then. So, yeah, it could happen.
I thought the Chargers hire was interesting with the D coordinator from the Rams. And then the Lions, they're talking about hiring Dan Campbell.
Yep.
We had a chance before. It was awful. I don't get that one at all. I don't get it, man. I don't understand like some of the names, like the Rams coach hadn't been a coach that long, but we've been seeing these coaches with barely inexperience get great jobs, right?
Yep.
But the Lions one, I don't know. I don't get it.
And again, the Lions, they almost like they don't even want to win, bro. They don't even want to win.
Yeah, I mean, if I was a Detroit Lions fan, I'd be like, Dan Campbell, that's the best we could come up with.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just want to pick your brain on those two things. But man, from a PR point of view, yeah, think about that. If that does happen and Deshaun moves on, you lost James Harden. How many cities have lost two megastars like that?
You might as well call it 3 because J.J. Watt's out of here. So, again, I've been saying, imagine in the same calendar year you lose James Harden, Deshaun Watson, and J.J. Watt.
Anybody for the Astros looking to leave?
Well, George Springer. It's not Jose Altuve. It's not Alex Bregman. But George Springer is very beloved by the Houston fan base. And, excuse me, they got the money. They could pay the man.
Yep. Man. I don't know how you recover from that. That if Deshaun moves on, that Texans fan base, that's a tough one. Because anybody else, whatever you try to bring in, whether it's the kid from BYU, that's going to be tough because I think the Texans fan base really likes Deshaun.
Yep. No, I mean, trust me. The fan base loved Deshaun so much, they're saying, Deshaun, get out of here.
Really? So this, even the Texans fan base, like, hey, you're too good for this. You need to go somewhere where your talent's going to be better used.
Yep.
Man.
I mean, again, they have turned on Cal and Jack Easterby, and ain't nobody excited about Nick Caserio, but Cal, Jack Easterby, and a couple of just I can't even call them diehard fans. They're just
Let me ask you about Derek Jones, if you don't mind. I'll let you go.
Yeah.
Did he get any traction on trying to get an interview, get his foot in the door, at least be heard?
So the guy Jamie, I can't remember his name. Jamie Hooper, Duper, whatever. Basically said that the process was moving so fast that we just needed to stay tuned. I don't think he ever got to the point where they were seriously going to bring him in for even an interview because of that search firm. And then right after that, we heard that they went with Nick Caserio, which led me to believe that Nick was the pick all along. You know how they do in companies where they'll put out a job ad and they'll float it like they really trying to look for somebody outside the company, but they already got somebody in mind. That's what that was.
Wow. So do you think the search firm was just for PR looks, like they were really trying to go out there?
Yeah, because remember, they got in trouble for trying to get Caserio before. So they went above and beyond. They doubled up on the Rooney Rule. They brought in a couple of black general manager candidates. They had already met the Rooney Rule. So, they covered their bases.
Wow. Man, I didn't know it was that bad. But today, I know he followed Texas, obviously, but I didn't know the situation had gotten to that. If that's all true, I think that's gonna be hard for Deshaun to come back. It'd be interesting how he handles it if he's trying to force his way out, right?
Yeah, and that's why, you and I have talked about this too. That's the only leverage some of these guys have. So if Deshaun is serious about not playing, I want Deshaun to sit down. I want, doggone it, and I know we don't have to because he just signed a big deal, but if we gotta cash app Deshaun to help him during this time, I'm willing to do it. I'm just on principle alone, and I'm serious about that. I'm very serious about that. Let me throw a couple of things out real quick. Terrell Rollins said, I just tagged you in an article stating fans were planning a protest march for Deshaun. He advised against it because of COVID. And then Kelly said, this conversation is breaking my heart. It's real. It's real. Deshaun has done nothing but everything this organization has asked him to do. And they've let him down every step of the way. They have not put the help around him that they said they would. They literally got rid of his favorite target, best friend, and one of the best wide receivers in the league. They got rid of an all-pro offensive lineman early in his career. They got rid of defensive help, and then they want him to just understand, oh, now we're going to do better? Why would he believe him? Why should he?
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I used to think that Cal was oblivious. I used to think Cal McNair was the stumbling fool, just dumb. Just, I don't know, I got my dad's team. No, he is the ringleader, and he knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Man, like I said, man, I didn't know it was to that boiling point, but if it is, have we ever seen a quarterback of his magnitude be moved at that time in his career? Have we?
The only closest thing to it, remember when the quarterback used to be with the Bears, Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler.
Okay.
At the time he was moved, he was in his 20s, and he had just come off of a phenomenal year with Denver, but they brought in Josh McDaniels, and he and Cutler didn't get along, so they ended up moving him for a bunch of picks to the Bears, and he didn't do for Chicago nearly what he did in Denver.
Interesting. Yeah, man, that'll be something else. I just think from a PR point of view, if that ends up happening, the Texans trying to bring in free agents, that's going to be tough.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Somebody said this went from the least desirable job of the opening to the most undesirable job in the of the openings available.
So let's talk about Eric Bieniemy for a minute. Let's say they do interview him. Let's say the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, right?
Yep.
Bring him in. Bieniemy's like, hey, man, I would love to work with Deshaun, but man, this front office is a mess. You know?
Todd, I'm gonna save you the breath. I don't want Eric Bieniemy here, not in this mess, because again, I think it would just be a platitude move to appease Deshaun. He won't get a fair shot. He won't get all the tools that he needs to be successful, and that's just not right.
No, I agree with that. I mean, so if you look at Bieniemy, what is left? Would you like to see him in Philly?
Yeah, I'd love to see him working with Jalen. But watch this. I threw out a scary one last night. Keep not hiring him and let him stay there in Kansas City and let Andy retire. Now you got Eric Bieniemy with Patrick Mahomes. Oh, baby, please. It'll be Randy Moss and the Dallas Cowboys all over again. It'll be ugly.
Yeah, that's not I don't know how many more years Andy wants to coach. I didn't even think of that one. That's not a bad option. Maybe Bieniemy or the Chiefs go to Bieniemy, give him a raise, and just say, hey, kind of the coach in waiting type deal. That's not a bad option. You know what, AJ? Let's say Andy coached 2-3 more years, right?
Yep.
Let's say 3.
Yep.
Patrick Mahomes still got a good 12 years left in the NFL.
I'd stay there and work with him.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I didn't even think of that one. AJ, man, I'll let you run, but always great show as always.
Appreciate you, Todd. Have a good one. Tell the family we said hello, bro.
All right, do it. Thanks, AJ.
All right, I know we got another caller holding. Let me see if I can't get him in real quick before the top of the hour. Hello, you're live on the lunch break. Who's this?
What's up, AJ? Happy Martin Luther King Day to you and the lunch breaker.
Hey, what's going on, Ferdinand?
Nothing. I know you're at the top of the hour. You need to take a break.
No, I got 2 minutes, but you know me, I'll let you talk as long as you want to. You call it the year 2017 and the very first caller on this show ever. So Ferdinand, you got what they call grace.
Well, I sure appreciate it, my brother. Look, Tom Brady, I don't know who people are, who people think Tom Brady is. Tom Brady has a shot to go to the Super Bowl every time he's in NFL.
If he's alive and breathing and wearing an NFL jersey, he's got a shot to go to the Super Bowl.
Absolutely. And what has happened was I saw what they was building and I was liking it. And right now, to me, I think Tom has more talent on Tampa Bay than he did in New England. And so I was rooting for Drew. I mean, come on, he's retiring and things of that nature. So I was rooting for him, but I didn't pick the Saints to win, AJ, because, I mean, come on, man. When you study football, you got to know that now look, when New Orleans was good and when New Orleans was almost to play New England, I'd have picked Breeze. because Breeze had everything he needed. But when I saw Breeze, he's been hurt, and he just hadn't been on it, this year, AJ. And so I knew when Tom came to town that, man, it was 50-50. And if you leave Tom close, leave him close, what are you going to do, AJ? He's been doing it for
you don't want to leave. You don't want to leave it with time and an opportunity because bruh's going to make the best of it. But go easy, Ferdinand. I'm still tender behind that Saints loss.
No, man, look, I'm a
Saints fan, and I bleed black and gold. If I hadn't have pledged Kappa, I ain't even going to say that. I just love black and gold with them Saints and them Steelers. And, yeah, man, I'm still a little tender, man. Both my teams out, bro. Both my teams
Absolutely.
out.
No. I'm a Drew Brees fan.
Man.
They won a championship. And
I was so mad at Drew Brees last night, I couldn't see straight.
No, see, but AJ, I was prepared. I knew. That's why I didn't pick him. I'm a Drew Brees fan. I'm a Saints fan. I always be. But I knew when I saw what the talent that Tampa Bay had and was really doing. AJ,
wait a minute, Ferdinand. Let me hit this top of the hour. I want to come right back to you. Let me hit Ferdinand in 1 second.
1140 AM, KYOK Conroe, and 92.3 FM, K222CX Houston.
The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the host, guests, and callers who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. My friend Kelly Hodges got me laughing, man. Yeah, I'm K.A. Sci-Fi New Pie, Frat So Nice. They had how many times they had to name us. So anyway, let me get back to Ferdinand. Ferdinand calling the year 2017. Man, okay, so here's the deal. Can I treat you like you're a Catholic priest? In a good way. I need to have confession. In the Kansas City game, when they brought Chad Henne in and he messed up, I think he threw an interception or fumbled the ball or something like that. Ferdinand, I cussed. I said a bad word, Doc. I said a bad word. And it just, I can't blame nobody. But I said my first bad word in 2021. And I felt bad about it. I was convicted, Ferdinand. I was convicted. And you know what I did? I didn't say no more bad words in that game. I was good, Ferdinand. I didn't say no more bad words in that game. So when Drew Brees started acting up and playing like he was the rookie edition of Josh Allen with the Buffalo Bills, I couldn't say no more bad words because I'd already said them in that Kansas City game. And I had to just sit there and take it, and I'm hurt, Ferdinand. I'm crushed. I can't help myself. Pray for me, Reverend. Pray for me. Pray for me.
I'm gonna help you and Tom. Look, the decisions that Drew Brees made in that game, and the decisions that Tom Roethlisberger made, it's just time for retirement. You can't keep throwing interceptions on crucial, meaningful games. Man, I applaud both of those guys for remarkable careers, but Todd, this is another thing. When you're in over your head, it's time for you to get out.
Yeah.
Sean is in over his head,
and
I understand why he want to get out. So it's a time and a season for everything.
Yeah.
And that time has come for Deshaun earlier than we all anticipated. But when you're in a bad, horrible situation, do you stay there?
Yeah.
Do you stay there, AJ? Look at Earl Campbell. He was in a no-win situation. I mean, he was great, one of the greatest to ever play football. But he still was in a no-win situation. He didn't get out. And now, as a result of what he went through, his body is almost, not helpful to him at this point. So, you just got to know when to get out, man. And I just think that, Deshaun, he deserves better. When I'm at a job, I have to abide by the rules and the regulations. But what Deshaun is a totally different situation.
Yeah.
We've seen, AJ, Bill O'Brien take every weapon that Deshaun could ever want. How you take that away, man, unless you're not serious about winning a championship?
Yeah, man.
So I don't care what contract he has. If he's able to get out of it, get out of it. Money, sir, is not worth everything. I promise you that. Money is not worth everything. He can have that big contract. If he end up a vegetable, nobody's going to care.
Yeah.
This man running for his life since he's been there. What more do we expect Deshaun to do when you've taken his last weapon?
Yep.
Every team look for great receivers. You get rid of your great receiver, AJ. Come on, man.
Yep. Now, bro.
Now watch this. Tom Brady got one of the greatest receivers that was still left, Antonio Brown.
Yep.
So how did the great go get a great one when Deshaun had a great one? You explain it to me.
Well, the Texans went and got like 4 great ones, didn't they? They had Kenny Stills, they had Will Fuller, they had Brandon Cooks, and who else? Not KQT. They had somebody else. Oh, Randall Cobb. They had great wide receivers. I'm being facetious, Doc.
I know. Look, they went and got some sooner. The sooner you get rid of them, the better. Okay?
Listen, man. That's crazy. I'm trying to be respectful.
Oh, yeah. No, we love all of them. But what we were saying is I've been preaching to the Texans fans forever. We're in business here for selling tickets and not winning championships.
And that's
championship
the truth.
people.
And that's the truth.
Championship thing.
Yep.
And come on, be honest, AJ.
Yeah. If we haven't figured that out by now, we're not going to figure it out. That's the truth.
Absolutely.
Right there. Yeah.
So why y'all mad at the Texans, man? What you see, sir, is what you get.
Yep. You're right.
And so don't be mad at Breeze, man. Look, we applaud Breeze, man. Great season, great, just everything that he laid on the line. But like I said, when you get to those years, AJ, when you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, Roethlisberger is one of them. But the last 3 or 4 years, you've thrown interceptions in very, very crucial games. We're not mad at you, but at some point, when you're in over your head, it's just time to quit.
Yeah, I was talking with one of my real close friends from Louisiana, and I said, baby, Roethlisberger and Drew Brees, they're gonna have to go on. One word, go on. Get.
Yes.
They just, it ain't mad at you, but you got to go on. You got to get. You got to go on, retire, and get.
And I'm with you. Look, AJ. Tomlin has to stay with Roethlisberger because of the power that they gave Roethlisberger. But sometimes great coaches who can be better, they have no choice but to stick with that quarterback.
Bruh.
And that quarterback sometimes will take you and make you not get to that pinnacle place you need to be.
Marvin Lewis does not have a job in the NFL right now because of one person, Andy Dalton.
Absolutely.
Because he married himself to Andy Dalton, and Andy Dalton hit his ceiling a lot earlier than people thought he would. And again, you don't have to agree with me. It's just the truth. It's just the truth.
We can take you to the facts, AJ. We can take you to the facts.
Yep. Real quick, Ferdinand, I wanna mess folks up. That's why I'm saying I wish that Mike Tomlin could get his hands on Deshaun Watson and let him be that franchise quarterback for the future there in Pittsburgh. Because baby, ball game. If he had Deshaun this year, we'd be having a whole different conversation. Your boy Baker Mayfield would be afterthought if they had Deshaun and not Ben throwing all those picks. So I'm just saying, let Pittsburgh find a way to move some assets around and get Deshaun Watson over there in Pittsburgh. It is over.
Yeah, I agree. I wish it could happen, but they have to really pull some good strings. But look, man, we've seen it, AJ.
Yep.
Anything is possible.
Yep.
Anything is possible.
Yep.
For those Andy Dalton fans, look, Andy Dalton had a chance to get the Cowboys to the playoffs. It didn't happen. So you can't blame that on Marv Lewis.
Mm-mm.
You have to blame it on the man in the mirror. And so all you guys that thought he was all that in a bag of chips, he had a chance, AJ.
Yep.
Put the Cowboys, despite the record that they had in the playoffs, it didn't happen. So what you're saying is true, and just stick to your gun.
Got to do it. Hey, while I got you on here, let me go ahead and give the standings of the lunch break playoff edition, Keeping Up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge. After week 2 of the playoffs, the division round, everybody was 3-1 except George Griffin. George Griffin was 2-2. So it went down to the tie break, and here are the standings after this past weekend. At number 1, Chi-Town, 8-2. 8-2. At number 2, Ferdinand, right behind him at 7-3 by virtue of this weekend's tiebreaker. At number 3, Milo. Boy, Milo been on your tail all season long. At number 4, Keisha Kelly at 7-3. Number 5, Big Floyd at 6-4. And number 6, George Griffin at 6-4. And we got next week. Games are Sunday starting at 2:05. So I got to have everybody's picks by Sunday at 1 o'clock. Sunday at 1 o'clock. Got to have everybody's picks. Y'all know how to get them to me. Either text them or email. But you got to have your picks in. And then for the tiebreaker, I want y'all to use the Baltimore Buffalo game. Baltimore-Buffalo game for the tiebreaker.
Buffalo. Baltimore?
I'm sorry, not Baltimore.
No.
You know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is. I read the wrong. I was looking at my wrong note. Buffalo and Kansas City. Buffalo and Kansas City for the tiebreaker. Buffalo, Kansas City.
Okay, I got you. So we had to give you the score for that one.
Yep. Give me the score for that one.
Well, that'll work, man. That Milo boy, he's been a thorn in my side.
Man, Milo want that money, but y'all better watch out and don't let Chi-Town win for the second season in a row, because Chi-Town did not give us a thank you video or audio or anything from last year. And if he wins this year, I'm not giving him one red cent until I get a video or an audio or something.
Yeah. I had to really step it up, because I'm like, man, I knew AJ when a lot of people was going to pick the Saints, because did a lot of people lose that Saints game?
Let me see. Keisha Kelly had the Saints, and George Griffin had the Saints. Chi-Town had the Saints. He would have been 4-0 if he had picked Tampa Bay.
But see, that's the only chance that I knew that I had to kind of come up with to pick Tampa Bay. Because I like, if I pick Tampa Bay and Tom helped me out, I can kind of nudge my way back up just a little bit, and it worked out.
You being strategic. Ferdinand, I appreciate you as always, brother.
Yes, sir. All right. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
All right, y'all. Let me go ahead and take a break. This segment brought to you by Lily and the Tax Doctor right here on the lunch break.
Hi, my name is Lily. My mom and dad used to fight about money all the time. Then one day, I heard them talking about this guy, some uncle I never knew, called Uncle Sam. Well, they say this Uncle Sam guy wanted them to pay him like $1 gazillion, and they didn't have $1 gazillion. So they called this company they heard on the radio called the Tax Doctor. And the Tax Doctor worked with Uncle Sam's people. I think they're called the IRS. And they are able to work it out so my mom and dad didn't have to pay Uncle Sam very much money at all. So now mom and dad are happy, and I'm happy too. Thanks, Tax Doctor.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, call now and pay less.
800-603-9359. 800-603-9359. That's 800-603-9359.
Here's an important COVID-19 school system update for your local area. If you're concerned about your child's education, please pay close attention to this message. The current school systems were not set up for at-home learning. If you're worried that your child may not be getting the grades they need to get ahead, may be losing self-confidence, or you're worried about them getting into a good college because of their grades, help is available to you. Call Grade Potential Tutoring. They can help with in-home or online tutoring and help your child with any subject at every grade level, even for test prep. They're experts in the home tutoring and online tutoring field and confident they can help you and your child get better grades today. Call now for your free consultation. 800-580-7680. 800-580-7680. 800-580-7680. That's 800-580-7680.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who've helped people that have been injured or wronged. Have you been diagnosed with cancer? Are you one of the millions who have taken Zantac or other generic versions of this popular drug to help treat stomach issues? Then pay close attention to this message. The FDA said it detected low levels of a probable cancer-causing chemical known as NDMA in Zantac and other generic forms of this popular drug. They've banned sales and even removed it from the market. If you've been diagnosed with cancer and you've taken Zantac or a generic equivalent, call the legal helpline now. You could receive a free cash award and have your medical expenses covered. And there's no upfront cost to you. They only get paid if you win. So please call now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legend continues.
You're listening to The Lunch Break with AJ on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
Paper. I lived in China or even Russia or any totalitarian country, maybe I could understand some of these illegal injunctions. Maybe I could understand the denial of certain basic First Amendment privileges because they haven't committed themselves to that over there. But somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest far right.
Yeah, I had to get a little bit of that in. If Facebook decides to block me for that, then so be it. You know, I'll be on YouTube or Instagram or somewhere else. But Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on this day is celebrated, is honored, is recognized, is revered, is just appreciated. And I love what he said. All we're saying, America, is be true to what you said on paper. If there's a constitution that the founders of this nation put in place for the nation, then let that constitution be true for everybody, not just somebody. It's not hard. It's not hard at all. Let me go to the phone line. Hello, you live on the lunch break. Who's this?
My brother.
My brother.
How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm not gonna complain, man. Great excerpt from a great man. You know, somewhere along the line. And by the way, happy MLK Day to you.
Same to you, man. Same to you, Doc.
Yeah, you know, great excerpt. I think it speaks profound, and even over almost over 50 years when it was originally stated and recorded that it went forth in regards to the fact of how things need to be done and how things need to be even exemplified 50 years later.
Right, man, Doc, check this out. Check this out real quick, because I know you can appreciate it. When Black Lives Matter was marching in Washington in front of the Capitol building, President Trump said that he would unleash weapons like people have never seen before if the protesters set foot on the Capitol's grounds and they erected those non-climb fences and what have you. When people actually got into the Capitol itself, protesting and vandalizing and causing crimes and stuff, literally trying to overthrow the will of the government, he said, "We love you. We appreciate, we understand your pain. Y'all go home now." We have not had in 6 days but one comment from the President of the United States, and the Capitol had been attacked physically. People have died. Dr. Martin Luther King said, just be true to what you say on paper.
And, and to ditto you on that, the greatest thing that in that same speech that Dr. King made that particular night in Memphis, Tennessee, is the fact that as he shifted, he started speaking prophetically when he said that we got some difficult days ahead. Yeah. And so the thing about it is the fact, I agree with you wholeheartedly that the leadership, and we can even go further back than that, in August of 1964, August of 1963, the March on Washington, nonviolence. The march that took place, the Million Man March, nonviolence.
I was there. Yep, I was there.
I remember when you went. Everything that has transpired involving us as a people on a march on Washington has always been in a peaceful protest. Even the celebration of Barack Obama. Yep. The presence of the people that were there, of our people that were there.
Yeah.
We've always dispersed accordingly. We've always handled ourselves.
Yep.
But for this particular administration to take the mindset and the attitude that you want to use a quotation, make America great. This makes America great.
Yeah.
This is one of the most embarrassing situations that ever happened. And then some people feel, well, y'all burned
you've had riots, you've burned your city, you've destroyed your businesses, things of this nature here, but we never, that may be in the case because of this heart and this, and we've talked about this before, the rooted things that has never been uprooted that will take decades and centuries to uproot to the point that you know what, that's how we're exemplifying our pain. And it may be wrong, but in the long run, it's still, and you've had, as I heard you say earlier in your broadcast on today, you've had athletes that have been instructed, and told by businessmen, hey, you need to dribble the ball, keep your mouth closed, do this, but you want me to be quiet. And I do applaud you because I did too this weekend watch that particular movie one night in Miami.
Yep.
I thought Regina King did a dynamic job. I don't know how she came up with the research. I don't know how she came up, but man, look here. People need to really sit down and watch that movie, how 4 prominent Black individuals at that particular time sat down and had conversations.
Yep. Yep.
Brown,
Yep.
Cook,
Yep.
Ali,
Yep.
X.
Yep.
I mean, it was totally phenomenal. Just and so timely in this particular instance.
Yep.
For this thing to transpire, for this movie to come out.
Yeah, man. As you were talking, I was sitting here thinking that when we protested back in the '60s, before I was born, back in the '60s, they turned water hoses, and dogs loose on the Black protesters.
Yeah, that was called Bloody Sunday.
Yeah, but watch this. You've had white supremacists march, and not once has a cat been turned loose, or a rabbit, or not even a water gun. Not once.
Not once.
And it got out of hand. A girl died in Charlottesville, and the president of the United States said, but there were good people, fine people on both sides.
And here it is, in a time period where we go back to a previous administration. If some of the things that happened, we would have seen President Barack Obama's presence there. And this should have been a signal to some people, you understand, during Trump's administration, that, for example, when Young got killed, he addressed it, but never showed up for anything.
Right. No, you're right. You're right. And that's the sad part about it, man. And hear me when I say, I didn't want anybody to die a couple of Wednesdays ago. What I want is what Dr. Martin Luther King said: be true to what you say on paper. Don't kill us like you didn't kill them.
Exactly.
Don't beat us like you didn't beat them.
Exactly.
Don't do to us just like you didn't do to them. If we do wrong, arrest us. Arrest us. And let us have our day in court. But don't fear for your life when it's one of us, and you didn't fear for your life when it was tens of thousands of them.
Yeah. I mean, and you look at this, and let me say this to your listeners. In 1999, I made a venture I was going to the Church of God in Christ convention in Memphis, Tennessee. And as soon as I arrived into Memphis, the first thing that hit me when I crossed the Mississippi, because when you come from Little Rock, Arkansas, once you cross over the Mississippi, the first city you hit is Memphis. I went to the Lorraine Motel.
Yeah.
My brother, just to visually see it.
Yeah.
I mean, and I took a group of people, a choir that I was directing at that time, and I sent when my wife, Dr. Lady Alana, took my son up to Vanderbilt, I told her, I said, you got to go by. She called me in tears because of the fact it's just the visual aspect of seeing the wreath hanging over that balcony and those particular things, and it affects us as a people.
It's getting me right now, Doc. It's getting me right now. Dude, if I stay right there, let me take a quick break. Let me compose myself, because it's affecting me right now. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. OMG Tires and More bringing us this segment of the lunch break on the legendary KYOK.
Hi, I'm Linda J. I recently purchased 4 new tires from OMG Tires and More, located at 3124 Tidwell between 59 and Jensen. TK got me in and out in less than 30 minutes. While there, I got my car washed. Do you need rims for your car? OMG has them too. OMG Tires and More is your one-stop shop for all your tire needs. So give them a call at 832-767-3211. That's 832-767-3211. Conveniently located at 3124 Tidwell between 59 and Jensen on the north side.
Here's an important COVID-19 school system update for your local area. If you're concerned about your child's education, please pay close attention to this message. The current school systems were not set up for at-home learning. If you're worried that your child may not be getting the grades they need to get ahead, may be losing self-confidence, or you're worried about them getting into a good college because of their grades, help is available to you. Call Grade Potential Tutoring. They can help with in-home or online tutoring and help your child with any subject at every grade level, even for test prep. They're experts in the home tutoring and online tutoring field and confident they can help you and your child get better grades today. Call now for your free consultation. 800-580-7680. 800-580-7680. 800-580-7680. That's 800-580-7680.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM. The legendary KYOK 92.3 FM. Radio stations in one.
I'm Larry Scott, host of the Not So Christian and Me Show. Join me Saturdays for great fun, interviews, music, and the latest news surrounding our world today. We are the show that cares to hear your voice and opinion with real conversation in a no judgment zone. So join me Saturdays from 1 to 2 p.m. on the Not So Christian and Me Show, right here on the legendary KYOK Radio, 1140 AM, and the all-new 92.3 FM and KYOKradio.org.
All right, y'all. Hey, I'm going to be on the Not So Christian and Me Show this coming Saturday, so I look forward to hanging out with Brother Larry Scott, Minister Larry Scott, and the entire crew. Looking forward to being on the show this Saturday, the Not So Christian and Me Show. Be sure and tune in this Saturday at 1 o'clock. Let me go back to the phone line. And, brother, I'm trying to hold my peace. I really am trying to hold my peace. Do me a favor. Let me throw this out real quick. Let me hit this real quick. Let me hit this real quick.
Go ahead.
Convention, and they're spewing this fear, right? Like all you hear is Donald Trump and all of them talking about fear. We're the ones getting killed. We're the ones getting shot. We're the ones that we're denied to live in certain communities. We've been hung, we've been shot, and all you do is keep hearing about fear. It's amazing why we keep loving this country, and this country does not love us back.
That's Doc Rivers. That's Doc Rivers after the young man got shot up in Kenosha, and man, his words are profound on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, because again, stop telling me to love something that don't love me.
Wow.
Stop telling me to love something that don't love me. I had a white judge from Penn State University. I told him I was going to make him famous today. Tell me on Martin Luther King's birthday what I was supposed to tweet and what I wasn't supposed to tweet, and how my agenda is always based on race. Number one, he ain't my program director. He's not the general manager. He's not the editor of the show. Producer. None of that. And there's an unfollow button over there. So rather than, watch this, imagine the sense of entitlement that rather than unfollow somebody, you want to be the one to exert your will, your preference, your right, your self-righteousness, your entitlement to tell me what to do with my free speech.
Exactly.
On the birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Exactly.
And you know what? You know what it dawned on me? To just ignore him. Because that kind of superiority complex, that kind of sense of entitlement, that didn't start day before yesterday, and he's not my assignment. I got to stay focused on fighting the best fight I can for my folk. I can't worry about a white person who just refuses to get it.
You know, and the other day, I heard one of the great announcers in the field that we're in, Ralph Cooper mentioned, he said that, you know, that we as a people have continued to climb, have continued to do these particular things in life, and every step that we've made, we've taken it through some form of adversity.
Yep.
Every step that we've made, we've taken it through some form of adversity, and taking it through some form of adversity, you know, it has done several different things for us. The first thing that it has done is it has caused us, you understand, to continually, you know, press towards the mark, look over our shoulder, and then, you know, say, I can. You know, you look at things that continually transpire, things that are happening today. You know, do we give up? Do you give up? Because you feel that it has been embedded in your mind down through the years that, you know what, you need to do because I say so, because of who I am. No, not because of who you are. You understand? It's because of who I am.
Yep. Yeah. Nah, man.
I have a right like you have.
Right.
So don't take away my right.
Right.
Because I'm saying something that's upsetting you.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
You're not my slave. Go ahead.
So I say this respectfully to our ancestors. I'm not my ancestors. I'm not saying that they willfully submitted to y'all, to their, you know, their suppressors. I'm not saying that. They did what they had to do and they did what they could do. But I'm not them. And you're not going to make me do what you tell me to do. Number one, you don't have the right to do it. Number two, I'm not going to let you do it. I'm not even going to let you think that you can do it. I said during the protest this past summer, the one sign that I said that I saw that chilled my bones was the one that said, you have blanked with the last generation. And bro, I need that to be true with everything that is within me at whatever cost is necessary.
You know, I was talking with someone last week, and he's Caucasian. And of course, those who have been around this area all of your life, you know that when you come into Pasadena, when you turn on Red Bluff, there used to be a sign that said it was, you know, the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. He said that he was raised 2 or 3 blocks from that street. His grandfather was a racist, but his daddy didn't raise him to be that particular way. You know, the shocking part when people look at, I don't like to tell movies, the shocking part, and I heard you earlier when you say you give credit to the actor that played Malcolm X, but the guy that played Jim Brown, when he was on the porch and he said, "Are you trying to move some furniture?"
Yeah.
He said, "Yeah, let me help you move the furniture." He said, "Well, you know, Jimmy, we don't allow
the N-word."
Yeah, the N-word in the house.
Yep. Now just finish telling him anything you need, I'm here. I got you.
Exactly.
But you can't let this young man whom you just profess your support to come in your house to help you do something that you need to do.
Yeah. You know, I mean, it's to the point, you know, we look at the NBA, we look at the NFL.
Yep.
We look at Major League Baseball.
Yep.
The turning points and major other sports, tennis, golf. You know, the Serena Williams, the Tiger Woods.
Yep.
I mean, you know, all these. You know, we look at it. You give us accolades. You know, you say the greatest basketball player to ever play the game. You know, between Jordan and and LeBron, the greatest running back to ever carry a football, the Jim Browns, you understand, the Emmitt Smith, the Walter Payton, you understand, the list continues to carry on. I heard you mention even though about Jackson, you're looking at Mahomes, and you're not taking anything away from anybody else. There's a balance of talent that goes across every spectrum of anything that we participate in.
Yep.
But it's to the point that it seems as though that line still gets drawn.
Yeah. DB, bruh, we listen to all those We Love Black People videos from the commissioner of the NFL, from the commissioner of the NBA. We heard coaches do their We Love Black People videos. I call them hostage videos, like they had to say something. And here we are in 2021, and after there were 6, 7 head coaching jobs, 1 general manager, black general manager.
Right.
There are only 2 black head coaches right now in the NFL, 2.
Right.
And 1 that they don't put the word out that he don't interview well.
Right. Yeah, you talking about what you're talking about Kansas City.
Yeah, I want to know who thought Adam Gase interviewed well. That's what I want to know. I want to know who thought Charlie Weiss interviewed well in college and in the pros. Because those 2 are one of the worst coaches ever. But we want to talk about Eric Bieniemy. Bro, let me just say something. Everybody who wants to tell us that we never had it better than we had it before, except for under Donald Trump, shut up. Malcolm X told a prominent journalist, you need to be quiet. You need to shut your mouth because you don't know what you're talking about. You speak with some kind of superiority as if you know our struggle, as if you know what we're going through, as if all these years later, after Dr. Martin Luther King, the one that y'all claim to be the emulator of how to peacefully protest, he peacefully protests and y'all killed him. So shut up. Close your mouth. Do not say another word. Do not tell me how good I have it when you don't know how bad I have it.
If you never walk my, I think the quotation, if you've never been in my shoes, then you don't know my story.
They never walked an inch in my shoes.
Yeah, I mean, and to piggyback on that, AJ, is the fact that you know what, as we continue to press on, as we continue to move day by day, my kids, your kids, I heard you mention your son earlier, what's in store for them?
Bruh.
I mean, what's the next 20 years?
Bruh.
What's the next 20 years? What's the next 20 years in store for them?
DB, and because of that thought right there, because I got older kids and young kids.
Yeah,
I can't be comfortable because I've waited. I've waited for folks to just do the right thing. I've waited for folks to just be true to what they say on paper. Y'all love this Constitution so much, they forgot how to love the people that the Constitution was for. And if it's not for me, then while I'm still breathing, I got to bring about as much change as possible for my kids and my grandkids. And I mean that. I mean that with everything that's within me. Listen, I don't paint all white people with a broad brush. I don't. I know we got good white folks. I have a white man that adopted me so that I could stay with the kids that I grew up with in the community that I grew up in. I know they're good white people out there. I'm not talking about them, but I will say this. I will notice your silence when stuff that affects us happens and you ain't got nothing to say. I will notice that. It's not my enemies. It's the silence of my friends that I will remember.
And saying that, something just came to mind that people, I heard you talk earlier because, I'm almost 60. So, the Malcolms, the people who heard, all they heard was the negativeness of Malcolm X. But they didn't know that if you watch that, and I'm going back to the movie, the man had a heart because he found out some things were out of order. But the person that he wanted to make right was himself. And in making himself right, it caused him to do the research in order to find out I've been doing something wrong. it has to come to a particular point where those people that walk in the midst of this earth and there have been those that have made the transition, but have to start looking at the fact that, you know what, I'm doing something wrong. But you still have those that have it permeated in their mind to this particular point in life that, you know what, this is the way it is. This is, my mama did it, my daddy did it, my grandpa did it, and it's right. But I got news for them. It's wrong. And until you deprogram and uproot the wrongness, then there's going to be continued things that's going to happen, and it's going to jeopardize those particular individuals that continue to try to do those things and operate in the same pathway, in the same divine instruction that Dr. King and the historians put in the Constitution. The Constitution, you talk about amendments, they're not amending it, they're going against it.
Yeah.
And how long will we continue to go against what has been the foundational principle that this country was built upon? You want another 1812?
Yeah.
You want another Civil War?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-mm.
You know, you want to fight. You want an inward fight. You want to, you know, and that's all you're having. You're having an inward fight. One of the greatest things that I know you got to go to another break is the fact that right now the situation that we're in, and even those congressmen and congresswomen, a couple of Wednesdays ago, they were all under attack at the same time.
Yep.
It didn't matter if it was a Cruz, if it was a Jackson, if it was a they all were under
the black
attack.
ones, the white ones, the Hispanic ones, the Asian ones,
all,
the conservatives, the liberals, the libertarians, the independents, all of them were under attack.
At the same time.
At the same time.
At the same time. So guess what? Guess what we are right now? We're still under attack.
Yeah.
All of us at the same time.
Yeah. DB Cook, always a good conversation, bro. I appreciate you as always, and I love you to life, man.
Same here, my brother. Much love to you.
All right,
Keep
bro.
hope alive.
Okay, man. You too. All right, let me take a quick break. We'll come back with more right after this on the lunch break. Real quick, are you a CDL driver? If you got a CDL license with a good driving record and a TWIC card, there's a reputable company that's looking for you. 832-476-3211. 832-476-3211. Again, CDL licensed driver, good driving record and a TWIC card. A reputable company would like to hear from you. Call them, 832-476-3211. That's 832-476-3211. We'll be right back right after this on the lunch break.
Hi, my name is Lily. My mom and dad used to fight about money all the time. Then one day, I heard them talking about this guy, some uncle I never knew, called Uncle Sam. Well, they say this Uncle Sam guy wanted them to pay him like $1 gazillion, and they didn't have $1 gazillion. So they called this company they heard on the radio called the Tax Doctor. And the Tax Doctor worked with Uncle Sam's people. I think they're called the IRS. And they're able to work it out so my mom and dad didn't have to pay Uncle Sam very much money at all. So now mom and dad are happy, and I'm happy too. Thanks, Tax Doctor.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, call now and pay less. 800-603-9359. 800-603-9359. That's 800-603-9359.
As the coronavirus is ravaging our community, make sure you have health insurance. Let Care Team Insurance assist you with our free medical enrollment assistance program. Call now and see what you qualify for at 281-990-1377. There are over 13 million people without insurance that should qualify for plans starting at $0 to only $50 per month. Care Team has helped thousands of people just like you by providing free enrollment assistance. Don't be taken advantage of by people selling bad or fake insurance. Make sure you have health insurance. Let Care Team Insurance assist you. This is AJ Jones, and KYOK listeners, I want you to call now and see what you qualify for. Plans starting at $0 to only $50 per month at 281-990-1377. That's 281-990-1377. Or visit CareTeamCares.com.
You're listening to
1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legendary KYOK.
The lunch break, where sports are the special of the day on the legendary KYOK.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It is the day that we celebrate the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It's his national holiday. I had to fight for that as well. His daughter, Bernice King, someone who I follow and revere and respect, says, instead of using my father to criticize the Black Lives Matter movement, use his words and teachings to enact legislation, establish policies, and engage in practices that reflect Black Lives Mattering. Because as MLK said, true peace is the presence of justice. That's from his daughter. Period. End of discussion. I mean, in 2021, we're still talking about how many black head coaches there are in the NFL, how few black general managers there are in the NFL. Out of all the open jobs, one. A young man that went to Detroit. There is a Middle Eastern descent head coach, Robert Salah, that will be going to, I believe, the Jets. And it still remains to be seen if Eric Bieniemy will get it. This isn't about Eric Bieniemy, by the way. Stop with that. That's, if you're not going to have racial discussions on a mature level, then don't get in them with me. Like, I'm not about to educate you, and you're a grown person on it's not about one person. The issue with Colin Kaepernick wasn't about Colin Kaepernick getting a job. Y'all took one man and made him public enemy number one, not just in a sport, but in the entire United States of America, because he chose to non-violently protest social injustice, racial inequality, racism, police brutality, economic disadvantages against black people. And y'all made him public enemy number one. He was up there with bin Laden. The man could not work another day in his profession and settled a lawsuit with the NFL over collusion to keep him out of the sport. Oh, AJ, they just settled to make it go away. It doesn't work like that. Why? Because he said, just treat black people the same as you treat other people. And because he knelt down during your sacred song, written by a racist, by the way, he had to be professionally assassinated. Not physically. Done that, can't do those things no more. So now the thing is to professionally assassinate somebody. You know, what kills me is folks are, oh, cancel culture. They want to cancel everybody. That's what you did to Colin Kaepernick. Why was nobody shouting cancel culture then? Oh, well, he's just not good, AJ. Really? Couldn't even bring him in for a workout? Oh, well, they tried to work him out. They didn't work him out like they worked everybody else out. Why was it different with him? Just be true to what you said on paper. Just do that. It's really not hard. Just treat everybody with the same justice that you're treating with the people that carried out insurrection on the Capitol of the United States. I'd love to see President Trump pardon some people from Black Lives Matter protests. Just wipe their slate clean. Do that instead of just pardoning your friends and the people who come up with a couple of $1 million. Got people that literally lied under oath in federal prosecutions who have been pardoned. But people who were fighting for racial equality still have charges hanging over their head. Make it make sense. Show me how it's equal. Show me how we've come a long way, because y'all not turning dogs loose on us no more. You're not spraying us with water hoses. You still have no black owners in the NFL. You still have no black owners in Major League Baseball. You still have one black owner in the NBA. And his name just happens to be Michael doggone Jordan. But let Kyrie Irving talk about owning their own league in some kind of way. He's a Malcolm X. Colin tried to do it like Martin, and y'all professionally assassinated him. Kyrie says, let's just get our own leagues then. And y'all labeled him a Malcolm X. Sidney Brown said it best. We're entertainment to some people. We're entertainment to some people. That's all. Just entertain us. Go live in a bubble and entertain us. We got to have our basketball. I don't care how many of your kids get COVID. We gotta be entertained. We gotta have our college football. A lot of brown and a few black bodies in Major League Baseball. We gotta have our entertainment. If I sound angry, I'm not. Just like the white judge that tried to tell me it's not really worth my time. That's not the attention of my fight. I'm disappointed. I'm frustrated. I'm saddened that white evangelicals care more about unborn babies than they care about the black and brown ones after they're born. So I'm disappointed. I'm sad. I'm heartbroken. But I'm not angry. Anger will take me away from the strategy. Anger will take me away from the solution. Anger will take me away from the methodology to bring about the change. Yeah, Kelly says that we've been entertainment since slavery. Have you watched Underground? I haven't watched it because I ain't gonna lie, Kelly. I get worked up. I don't know if you could tell, but I'll get worked. I'll be mad because I watched the episode of Underground and somebody will be catching my wrath that don't deserve it. I will watch it though. I'll calm myself down. But watch this. Folks get mad when black people talk about the NFL draft and the combine, and how they do the measurements of black people, how they literally put them on the trading block and let people bid for their services. And they don't see the parallels to the past that they saw no problem with, but many who've had family members that lived it do. And you can never understand our pain when you won't even acknowledge it. You won't even acknowledge where there are similarities that could be avoided. I have no problem in the world with Deshaun Watson withholding his services to not have to work for somebody who does not care about him as a person, just cares about his services. That's the only choice he has in that industry. Well, you shouldn't have signed the contract if you didn't want to play for him. Well, he gave him a chance. He gave them a chance. Once people show you who they are, what should you do? So if Deshaun decides to sit out, if there's a way Deshaun can undo the contract, give some of the money back so he can be free and go where he feels appreciated and valued and somewhat respected, good for him. You don't own him. He's not indebted to you. He's not an indentured servant. Oh, they're paying him millions of dollars. He'd be handing me my French fries in the drive-thru if he didn't have football. Yeah, that's kind of racist. That's that racism right there. That's the kind of stuff that Dr. King was marching for. So yeah, before you quote him, just realize he was talking about you. To think that professional athletes can only muster up, and no shade at fast food jobs, but that's the best they can do if they weren't playing a professional sport, please. Did you check out how Brother Roll became a surgeon, quit the game and became a surgeon? Jim Brown ain't hurting after not playing anymore. Muhammad Ali wasn't hurting after he couldn't box anymore. Sam Cooke, I'm starting to think y'all killed him too, to be honest with you, when I look at the nature around his death. Stop trying to control us. You act like you're giving kids scholarships. They earned them. You act like you did Deshaun Watson a favor to give him a $130, $160 million contract. He earned it. I'm going to do this. Facebook's just going to have to be mad at me. Facebook's just going to have to be mad at me. I'm going to close with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s final speech. All of it. Well, a 3-minute segment of it. Donnie McClurkin up next with the Donnie McClurkin Show. He'll give you the best in gospel music, the latest in the gospel music industry. Donnie does his thing every Monday through Friday from 2 to 3. In the morning, Erica Campbell and Griff, 6 a.m. to 9. Dr. Sylvia Cole and Call to Inspire after that. And then I'll be back with Team Texas Tuesday. As always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it except wear your mask, wash your hands, sanitize everything around you. And I don't care if you don't believe in COVID or not. Give people 6 feet. And when you see that racism, kill it. Not the person, but the racism. Bless you.
Just be true to what you said on paper. If I lived in China or even Russia or any totalitarian country, maybe I could understand some of these illegal injunctions. Maybe I could understand the denial of certain basic First Amendment privileges because they haven't committed themselves to that over there. But somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest far right. So just as I say we aren't going to let any dogs or water hoses turn us around, we aren't going to let any injunction turn us around. Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop. I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain.
And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.